Entschuldigung, Leute, hier war tatsächlich für ein paar Minuten jetzt das Internet einfach ganz weg. Also, so richtig futsch weg. Okay. Stream läuft jetzt aber wieder. Richtig. Sehr gut. Okay, ich habe das Gespräch noch mit Caden beendet. Er erzählt hat, dass er irgendwann den Ausbilder aus Versehen in einem Wutanfall umgebracht hat. Seinen arschloch-turianischen Ausbilder. Ansonsten wurde hier, glaube ich, nichts verpasst. Nee, hier ist halt nicht der Blitz eingeschlagen oder zumindest nicht in der Nähe, wo ich es gemerkt hätte. Ist aber ewig her, dass wir hier tatsächlich Internetprobleme hatten.
I get the feeling you want to ask me something, Commander.
I like talking with you, Liara, no matter what the subject.
You have been very understanding with me, Shepard. Very patient. I appreciate that. I know there are some strange beliefs about my people. I am familiar with the legend of Asari promiscuity, but those rumors have little basis in fact. When one of my people joins with an individual from another species, it is a very deep and spiritual exchange. We do not enter lightly into a union.
You make it sound almost mystical.
A true union goes far beyond an ordinary melding. It is a connection that transcends the physical universe. Two become one. Thoughts and senses merge, identities intertwine. Memories and emotions weave themselves together, becoming entangled in a single, rapturous whole. It is unlike any other experience. In some cases, it can be a truly life-changing event.
You Asari can live for 1,000 years. What happens when your partner grows old and dies?
Some unions are a single encounter between two willing individuals. But there are cases where an Asari and her partner choose to remain together. When that happens, we do not focus on the inevitable loss. Instead, we enjoy the time we are given. And even after a partner has passed on, a part of them lives on in us. The union is a connection that transcends both time and space.
It sounds amazing. Are you saying...
No! Oh no! I am not very good at this, am I? I'm sorry, Shepard. I am trying to explain why I have been so... reserved. The union is more than just sex. It is the lifeblood of my species, the way we Asari evolve and grow as a society. That is why I have never... that is why we must choose our partners with great care.
Ist schon irgendwie süß.
I want you to be absolutely sure about this, Liara.
I am only 106, barely an adult by Asari standards, and I spend most of my time absorbed in my research. I never really thought about it. Not until I met you. You are very special to me, Shepard. But with all that's happened, Saren, the Geth, the Reapers, I do not know if we are ready for this.
These are dark times, Liara. Maybe once all this is over.
I'm glad you understand, Shepard. There is too much at stake. We need to put aside our personal feelings and focus on stopping Saren. I wish it did not have to be that way. But we all have to make sacrifices. Let's talk about something else.
I should go.
Goodbye, Shepard.
Erfolgreich geflirtet.
Yes, Commander? Is there something you need?
I should go.
Goodbye, Commander.
Kürzestes Gespräch ever. Die am Wand sind nur die... Hier ist mein Zimmer. Riecht noch nach Captain Anderson. Haskidulz fragt, warum für dich Flirten meistens super awkward, weil es tatsächlich schon ein bisschen awkward geschrieben ist. Das kann man leider auch nicht so anders sagen.
What do you want, Shepard?
Why did you become a mercenary?
Lots of reasons.
Such as?
Such as, I needed to get out of our system. I needed to eat. I needed to survive.
Why not stay and help your people?
I tried to help. That's why I had to leave.
What happened?
I was betrayed. I was head of a small tribe. We were trying to restore order after the war, but the other tribes were against us. They followed Jared, one of the few warlords who survived the war with the Turians. But he was old, and so were his ideas. He wanted to continue the war. He wanted us to fight. Turians, Solarians, each other. It didn't matter who, as long as we were fighting.
What did you want?
I just wanted Jared to shut up, to stop his ranting. I wanted him to stop leading the tribes astray. But he couldn't understand how much things had changed. We didn't have the numbers to go to war. Even if we did, the genophage made sure we couldn't replenish our numbers fast enough. I told them all to forget about war. We needed to focus on breeding, at least for one generation. And for a while, we were getting through. Some of the tribes started coming around.
I take it the warlord didn't appreciate that.
No, he didn't. He arranged a crush with the tribes. A meeting on neutral ground. He wanted to talk. We met at the Hollows, near the graves of our ancestors. The skulls of our dead laid bare to remind us where we come from, and where we all go. It's as sacred as any Krogan place can be. Violence is forbidden.
Sounds like a trap to me. You must have suspected as much.
I did. But when your father invites you to a crush, well, there are some laws that even we hold sacred.
Sein Vater, das ändert irgendwie die Geschichte noch ein bisschen.
Jared was your father?
He was. Until that day. We talked, but we didn't get anywhere. When it was clear that I wouldn't join him, he gave the signal. His men leapt from the graves of our ancestors like Krogan undead. The few that were loyal to me died quickly. I escaped with my life, but not before I sank my dagger deep into my father's chest. That is why I left, and that's why I'll never go back.
So long, Rex.
Shepard.
Ziemlich ladi-da Ende. Wollen wir mit Ashley reden?
Commander?
Do you have a few minutes to talk? One-on-one?
Sure. I was just watching some mail from home.
Oh, before I go, we saw Caden in a news vid about the Normandy. He's cute. Later, sis.
Let's pretend this never happened.
Are you interested in the lieutenant, Chief?
Fraternization is against regulations, ma'am. Don't ask, don't tell. What's up? You didn't come by to eavesdrop on family mail.
Your family seems to be important to you.
Yeah, we've always been close. Me and my sisters especially. With Dad on duty so much, I had to help Mom raise them.
I was an only child, but I get the idea. At least one of my parents was always on duty.
Yeah, military families, eh? With schedules like that, it's a wonder we ever have kids anymore. Things were tense between Sarah and me for a while. Then we bonded.
Sounds like a story. Feel like sharing?
Sarah got herself a boyfriend who wanted to go faster than she did, Mike. I didn't think he was a bad kid, just pushy. Lynn would send me these worried vidmails, and I'd tell her to relax.
Darth Nubulus fragt, welches Call of Cthulhu-Abenteuer kannst du einem Anfängerspielleiter empfehlen? Für mich bist du mein Vorbild, was das Spielleiten angeht. Danke! Also ich beiß mich gerade durchs Hauptregelwerk. Eines, das ich sehr gut für Einsteiger finde, ist immer, ich sag's immer wieder, der Sänger von Dol. Es könnte für die Spielleitung aber tatsächlich ein bisschen schwierig werden, aber ich glaube, das kann man hier mit hinkriegen. Generell wurde neu aufgelegt in einem Band, der Perlentaucher vor Relie hieß, und das ist eine Sammlung von mehreren Abenteuern und da sind ein paar drin, die sich, glaube ich, ziemlich gut eignen würden, um eine Runde richtig anzufixen auf Cthulhu. Sachen, die leichter sind, bin gerade am Überlegen. Ich glaube, in dem Weltengeheimnis, das Abenteuer von Dominik Ladek, das ist sehr gut aufbereitet. Das könnte man auch probieren.
Where were you when this was going on?
I was on active duty. Sarah's graduating high school this year. This was only a couple of years back. They were on Amaterasu. At the time, I was assigned to Chernobog. Same cluster, but a dozen LY away. Close enough to talk regularly, too far to make it back in an emergency. I couldn't afford a fast packet flight.
If he really liked her, he wouldn't be pushy.
Yeah, of course. If he didn't ask at all, I'd wonder if he thought Sarah was ugly. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. Mike thought they'd go for a romantic walk in the woods, because he figured it was past time they did the deed. She levered Mike face first into a tree and left. Didn't have a scratch on her. Good thing Mom and Dad had us all learn some kind of self-defense. I took emergency leave and walked Sarah to school for a few days.
You traveled all the way home to walk your sister to school.
It was only a dozen light years, like a day's cruise. It's not like I was going to Earth or something. My last day out, Mike was waiting for us. Sarah had told her friends, so everyone at school knew what he did. He wasn't happy. I wanted to snap him in half, but Sarah gave me this look, this, let me handle it, I need to do this alone look. She kept her cool, God bless her, as he screamed in her face. She just let him vent. Then he tried to punch her. I swear, she just flowed around him. Next thing I knew, he's face down on the sidewalk and there's blood everywhere.
Der Nubulus sagt, oh, mir wird das Internet ausgesetzt. Sänger von Dol, beziehungsweise die Sammlung Perlentaucher vor Relie, sind ein paar gute Abenteuer drin, die man als One-Shots spielen kann, um eine Gruppe anzufixen. Aber gerade für Spielleitungsanfänger ist vielleicht das Abenteuer für Dominik Ladek aus Weltgeheimnis ganz gut, weil das so gut aufbereitet ist.
That's unbelievable. Sarah must be as good as you.
Better. I'm more or less a straight-up puncher. When he swung, she wasn't there anymore, and he fell. She helped him stop the bleeding and had me call an ambulance. She told the paramedics he fell. Before they took him to the hospital, Mike touched Sarah's arm. I thought he was gonna end up on the ground again. But he hung his head, whispered, "I'm sorry," and started crying. And she hugged him. The Williams women are a decisive bunch, Commander. We do things when we're ready. Not before, not after.
Your sister's something else. But you didn't mention your father at all. Was he on deployment?
Dad always wanted to serve in space, but he wanted us to have real ground under our feet. He'd say, space is beautiful, but you can't raise a family there. I cannot rest from travel. I will drink life to the lees. All times I have enjoyed greatly, have suffered greatly, both with those that loved me and alone. For always roaming with a hungry heart, much have I seen and known, cities of men and manners, climates, councils, governments.
I never thought I'd hear you reciting poetry.
Just because I can drill you between the eyes at 100 meters doesn't mean I can't like sensitive stuff. Just don't spread it around. Ulysses was my dad's favorite poem. Every time he shipped out, he recorded me reading it. He had a dozen versions when he retired.
Does he still like it?
I sure hope so. I read it to his grave every time I go home. Dad passed on a few years back. He's probably still watching, though.
Fettnäpfchen.
You mean from wherever we go after death?
Dead on, Skipper. He's with God now. That's not a problem with you, is it? That I believe in God?
Everyone has the right to believe what they want. Says so in the Alliance Charter, only with fancier words.
I'm glad you're open-minded about it. I've met a few people who are really weirded out by my faith. Because I work in space, I can't believe in a higher power? Jeez. Hello, have you people looked out the window? How can you look at this galaxy and not believe in something? I should get back to my duties. Didn't mean to take up so much of your time.
Bixi schreibt meine dumme Frage, aber hast du abgesehen von den unzähligen Rollenspielmaterial auf eurem Kanal noch anderes Material, wo du als Sprecherin fungierst, Hörspiele oder dergleichen? Ich habe gerade erst, das heißt, ich habe vor einem Jahr aufgenommen, aber jetzt war es dran und fertig produziert und alles in einem Feuerflieg-Hörspiel mitgesprochen von Tommy Krabweis. Aber ansonsten gibt es ein paar Hörbücher, die, glaube ich, alle bei Ulysses-Spiele verlegt sind, wo ich einfach Vademekum-Bücher vorlese. Das sind, glaube ich, die Sachen, die dem am ehesten entsprechen. Ansonsten in ein paar kleinen, winzigen Nebenrollen habe ich in ein paar Videospielen mitgesprochen und sowas. Und das Nubulus fragt, ob es noch irgendwo bei uns eine Erklärung zum Leiten von Cthulhu gibt. Wir haben ein Video zum Einsteigen in Call of Cthulhu. Und da werden zumindest Grundlagen wie spielt man das und wie auch zu der Stimmung was mit erzählt. Und ansonsten haben wir in Worlds and How to Use Them, in der Reihe von Spielleitungs- und Weltenbautipps, gibt es zum Beispiel was zu Monsterdesign und was zu stimmungsvollem Reden und stimmungsvollem Leiten und Horror. Es könnte vielleicht weiterhelfen in der Richtung. Und das Nubel schreibt auch möchte ein Spieler eine Art Magier werden, was ja, wie ich gelesen habe, ja ungünstig schwierig ist. Ist möglich, aber halt extrem gefährlich. Und treibt einen in den Wahnsinn.
Commander, good to see you.
You've been with CSEC a while. Have you seen much action?
Well, not as much as you, but yeah, I've seen some interesting things.
I bet you have. Anything in particular that stands out?
I remember this Solarian geneticist I was sent to investigate. That case was a bit disturbing.
What happened? Why were you investigating him?
I was tasked with tracking black market trade on the Citadel. Most of it harmless, nothing I needed to pursue. But during the course of my investigation, I noticed an increase in the trade of body parts, organs mostly. We usually get a few of those, but not the numbers I was seeing. We weren't sure if there was a new black market lab or if some freak was harvesting organs from citizens.
So what was it?
Both, actually. But it took us a while to figure that out.
So how did you figure out what was happening?
First, we got a hold of a sample and ran DNA tests. The weird thing was, the match led us to a Turian who was still alive and was very convinced he'd never lost his liver. After a bit of digging, I discovered this Turian worked briefly for Dr. Salion, the geneticist. So I went to his lab hoping to find evidence of cloned organ development, but there was nothing. No Solarian hearts, no Turian livers, not one Krogan testicle.
You're kidding, right? Why would anyone want Krogan testicles?
Some Krogan believe that testicle transplants can increase their virility, counteract the effects of the genophage. It doesn't work, but that doesn't stop them from buying. They'll pay up to 10,000 credits each. That's 40,000 for a full set. Somebody's making a killing out there.
Das war eine sehr schöne Denkpause. Das hat immer das mehr Informationen über kroganische Körperteile, als ich eigentlich haben wollte.
What'd you do about the geneticist?
I brought in some of his employees for interrogation, to see if I could get them to talk. While I was interviewing one of them, I came across something suspicious.
You mean threatening? Was that really necessary?
Maybe, maybe not. Either way, it paid off. One of my detainees started bleeding profusely during the interview. We offered to patch him up, and he got frantic, freaked out. I ordered a full exam to find out what was going on. Our medics found incisions all over his body, some of them fresh. That was our big break. These people weren't just Dr. Salion's employees. They were test tubes, walking, living test tubes.
He was growing parts inside these people?
Exactly. He cloned their organs right inside their own bodies. Then he harvested them and sold them off. Most of the victims were poor. He'd pay them each a small percentage of the sales, but only if the organs were good. Sometimes an organ wouldn't grow properly, so he'd just leave it in them. Most of them were a mess, but only on the inside, hidden so nobody could see it.
I hope he got what he deserved.
That's the worst part. We never caught him.
Why not? What the hell happened?
He ran, blew his lab, grabbed some of his employees, and headed for the nearest space dock. By the time I found out, his ship was already leaving. He threatened to kill his hostages if we tried to stop him.
But you went after him anyway, right?
I ordered Citadel Defense to shoot him down, but CSEC headquarters countermanded my order. They were worried about the hostages, worried about civilian casualties if the ship was destroyed so close to the Citadel. I told them those hostages were dead anyway, and just used them to make more organs. They wouldn't listen.
Well, you can't get them all.
No, but letting him get away like that. All they had to do was disable that ship, stop him from running. Maybe the hostages die, maybe they don't, but at least we stopped the bastard responsible for it all.
I suppose I can see both sides. But what's done is done.
I suppose. Can't waste too much time worrying about it now. Just wish I could have stopped him. That's all.
Do you have any idea what happened to Dr. Salian?
I sent out feelers from time to time, hoping to find something. I thought I'd found him a while back. He changed ships and changed his name to Dr. Hart, his idea of a joke, I guess. I told the military, but they weren't convinced it was him. I got the transponder frequency for his new ship, but I just can't get anyone to check it out.
Danke fürs Cheeren, Deathless. Ich hoffe, ich konnte dir wenigstens ein bisschen weiterhelfen.
I'll check out the coordinates when I get a chance.
I was hoping you'd say that. But Commander, take me with you when you go. If it's Salion, I want to be there when you find him.
Wieder einen neuen Eintrag. Herschel System im Kepler Verge. Wir haben noch Teil.
Shepard, I'm glad you're here.
Good to see you smiling again, so to speak.
I'm sleeping much better now. I guess I'm getting used to how quiet your ship is. I still think a lot about my pilgrimage, though. I know Starin's our top priority, but with all the worlds we go to, I was hoping to find something to bring back to the flotilla.
We've still got a long way to go. You'll find something to take back.
Yes, but it cannot just be some derelict ship my people can use for salvage. It has to be more than that. There's a lot expected of me.
What's so special about you?
It's my father. He's the senior member of the Admiralty Board. He's one of only 5 people who can overrule the decisions of the Conclave for the good of the migrant fleet. My father is responsible for the lives of 17 million people. Our entire race is in his hands, and I'm his only child.
So are you some kind of heir to the Quarian throne or something?
No, it doesn't work that way. My father's position isn't hereditary. I'll probably never serve on the Admiralty Board myself. Officially, I'm just the same as any other citizen. But it doesn't work that way in practice. People have always treated me differently because of who my father is.
You must get all kinds of special privileges.
I probably had it easier than most growing up, but it's not all good. People like my father have enemies, and they're not above using me to get to him.
Why didn't you tell me this before?
I guess I'm just tired of people judging me because of who my father is. Everyone's waiting for me to do something great on my pilgrimage, something that will forever change our lives for the better. If I don't, it's like I failed, and that reflects badly on both me and my father.
The work you're doing here is more important than anything any Quarian's ever done before.
Yes, I know. But you have to understand Quarian culture. We're a very insular society. The events beyond the flotilla don't much matter to the average citizen. Our greatest dream is that one day we'll return to our homeworld and drive out the Geth. But even if we stop Saren, that's not going to happen. There's still millions of Geth behind the veil. Until they're gone, our exile will continue.
What would you need to bring back to make everyone happy?
Something that would help us better understand the Geth. They've changed significantly since the exile. They've continued to evolve. We've done our best to study them, but it's not easy. They're very reclusive. Until recently, they never went beyond the borders of the Veil. And all the Geth we run into now are under Saren's control. We'd need to find Geth operating on their own, independently. But I don't want this to get in the way of our mission, Shepard. First, we stop Saren.
Then I'll worry about my own problems.
I should go.
See you later.
Gut, für sie müssen wir also Infos über die Geth finden. Paragraph, der schreibt, ja, das Besondere tut sie zwar nicht während der Pilgerreise, aber sie wird definitiv etwas verdammt Wichtiges erreichen. Das ist tatsächlich in Mass Effect 3 passieren dann wichtige Dinge. Keine Sorge, ich will nicht spoilern. Allerdings war das dann, zu dem Zeitpunkt haben wir für die PC Games gearbeitet und ich habe einen Walkthrough gemacht für Mass Effect 3 und ich habe ihn gemacht dafür mit einem generischen Charakter. Und danach habe ich dann mit meinem Speicherstand das Spiel nochmal gespielt. Und da habe ich den Unterschied gemerkt und das hat unter anderem auch mit Tali's Story dann zu tun. Die kann auf eine bestimmte Art und Weise gar nicht ausgehen, wenn man nicht einen Speicherstand hat, der schon über 2 Spiele hinweg entwickelt wurde. So, und wo sollten wir hin? Kepler Verge, Armstrong Nebula, Kepler Verge. Um Dr. Salion aufzugreifen. Ich nehme an, das Schiff wird unser Ziel sein. Weltraum. Weltraum. So viele schöne Planeten. Dr. Hart. Oracle of Death nicht spoilern. Aber ja. Die Musik hier sagt, dass auch irgendwas echt nicht stimmt. Okay. Jetzt schauen wir mal, was hier passiert. Garrus als Scharfschütze ergibt schon irgendwie Sinn. All diesen Leuten hier geht es auf jeden Fall nicht sehr gut. Und es ist ausnahmsweise mal weder Thorian noch sind es Husks.
Thank you. Thank you for saving me from those things.
Commander, that's him. That's Dr. Saleon.
What? My name is Hart. Dr. Hart. Please, get me out of here.
Are you sure it's him?
Positive. There's no escape this time, Doctor. I'd harvest your organs first, but we don't have the time.
You're crazy. He's crazy! Please, don't let him do this to me.
We'll take him in, drop him off with the military.
But we have him. We can't let him get away. Not again.
If he dies, we'll never know what he's been up to, or how he did it. We'll take him in, interrogate him, and he'll serve his time.
Okay. You're right. You're a very lucky Solarian. You owe the Commander your life.
Oh, thank you so very much.
And so he dies anyway. What was the point of that?
You can't predict how people will act, Garrus, but you can control how you'll respond. In the end, that's what really matters.
Yeah. I don't think I ever met anyone like you, Commander. Well, I guess we're done here.
Okay, ich hatte ganz vergessen, wie gung-ho Garrus im ersten Spiel noch ist. Nehmen wir doch mal wieder Liebe von Bord. Ich soll meine Mutter anrufen. Armstrong und Nebel sind Geth unterwegs. So, ich schaue jetzt mal, ob ich tatsächlich einen Anruf bei meiner Mutter platzieren kann.
Computer, give me a real-time connection to the Dreadnought Kilimanjaro. I want to speak to my mother, Exo Shepard.
Shepard speak? Oh, hi. I don't have time for a personal call right now. I'm on duty.
I know what that's like. Do you remember Lieutenant Zabaleta from the Einstein?
Ernesto? Have you heard from him? He was one of the Marines who guarded the CIC. We shared a watch. I lost track of him after there was an incident.
I've seen him here on the Citadel. Looks like he's had some hard times.
I don't doubt it. You remember the Batarian raid on Mindwar in 2170? You were in high school. The Einstein's task group responded to the Mayday. The Batarians were still pulling out when the Marines hit groundside. Zabaleta was one of the first down. He was never quite the same after.
I don't understand. What happened down there?
About every abomination that a sentient being can do to another. To a slaver, a person is just another animal. And humans aren't always liked out here. We heard about corralling, culling. They'd shoot those they couldn't use, implant control devices in the skulls of those they could, without anesthetic.
He has post-traumatic stress because of what he saw?
He tried to keep working, but it rode him. He showed up drunk on duty more and more. We couldn't always cover for him. The Alliance discharged him. Everyone knew he drank because of what he'd seen down there, even if he never talked about it. Especially because he never talked about it.
For it to have affected him that deeply, he must have been a very sensitive man.
He was. Always in laughter and tears. If you see him, tell him we still worry about him. Tell him to go to the Veterans Affairs office. I have to go. But take care of yourself. You're making us proud. Kilimanjaro out.
Danke, Mom. Das hatte ich ganz vergessen, dass man, wenn man diesen Hintergrund hat, tatsächlich nach Hause telefonieren kann. Okay. Wenn wir schon hier sind, können wir auch noch dieses System anfliegen.
Message coming in. Patching it through.
I've received some troubling information, Commander. We need your help. Someone is killing former Alliance scientists. There have been 4 deaths in the past month.
I'm happy to look into it, Admiral. What can you tell me?
All 4 scientists worked on a classified project on a cruise. There was a brutal massacre there years ago. An entire unit was killed by Thresher maws. It was classified as a natural hazard, but the project dates coincide with the attacks.
You think these scientists had something to do with the attack?
I'm not certain what I think, but it's worth investigating. There was one other scientist on the project, Dr. Wayne. I'm transmitting his last known coordinates. Good luck. 5th Fleet out.
Okay. Ich mag Thresher Maws nicht. Ein Planet, dessen Mond ihn nicht mehr allzu sehr lieb hat. Und jetzt landen auch wir noch da drauf und machen noch viel mehr kaputt. Anomalie, Überreste und da, wo wir eigentlich hin sollen. Sind wir hier richtig? Nee, ein weiter rechts. Entschuldigung, was sind das? Käfer? Hallo? Hat das Buch aus Papier bei sich. So, Käfers. Hey, der ist jetzt... Der ist mir unter die Reifen gelaufen, ihr habt's gesehen. Ich habe nichts gemacht. Das ist ein bisschen schlechtes Gewissen wegen des Käfers. Ich stand. Er ist in meinen Reifen reingelaufen. Wie Askedudel schreibt, das war solider Käfer-Selbstmord. Ich habe dann nur blöd geparkt. So, hier künstlich schlechtes Wetter. Und dieser Mond ist wirklich verdammt nah dran. Das ist cool. Ja, ich kann das jetzt hier schon sehen. Moment, Leute schießen auf uns. Bist du doof? Ich sitze der Panzer. Okay, irgendwelche Wissenschaftler, die hier angeblich irgendwas zu tun hatten, damit das Thresher-Maus aufgetaucht sind. Der ist tot. Söldner. Das ist keine gute Sache. Ich würde auch nicht einfach so stehen bleiben. Wenn ich in Reichweite dahinter ist.
Can't get a
You
clear.
Stay back! I've got no grief with you. All I want is this bastard.
Please! He's a madman! Mr. Toombs, you're insane! You need help!
It's Corporal! Corporal Toombs! You don't get to lie! Not today! Today it all comes out!
What all comes out? I'm listening, but I need you to put that gun down.
You don't understand! I don't want to kill anyone. I want to go to sleep without screaming in my dreams. I want the people who sent me to Akuz brought to justice.
Can't you see that Toombs is crazy? Shoot him!
But if I can't get that, I'll have to settle for killing the men who took my life away.
What did the doctor do to you, Corporal?
We were on Akuz. When the Thresher Maws hit, my entire unit was wiped out. The Thresher Maws, the scientists were studying them. They let them hit our unit just to watch. I woke up in a holding cell. The scientists were delighted I'd survived. Now they had someone to run tests on.
What kind of tests are we talking about?
You can't believe Toombs! He doesn't have any proof! I demand a fair trial!
Ever had Thresher Maw acid in your veins? I have. They wanted to see what it would do. They're part of some organization, Cerberus, that runs secret tests like this. They treated me like a lab animal. This is justice. This man deserves to die. So, are you going to kill me or not?
Cerberus. Wir stoßen immer wieder auf sie.
You're better than this, Toombs. You're not like them.
Don't tell me who I am. You got away with a few scratches and a scary reputation. The rest of the unit died, and I was tortured for years, Shepard. You can't judge me. You don't have the right.
Toombs, if I could have helped you on Akuz, I would have. All I can do is help now. Let me.
Okay. I'm no murderer. They couldn't make me one. Just as long as he goes to trial. Maybe the screaming will stop now. I don't know.
Those bastards can't hurt you anymore. Joker, tell the 5th Fleet we need a ship for pickup.
Aye, aye, Commander.
Und wieder eine Nebenmission abgeschlossen. Nachdem wir diese dramatische Hintergrundgeschichte kennengelernt haben, scannen wir noch ein bisschen mit Teil.
Message coming in. Patching it through.
I reviewed your report on the situation, Commander. I'm glad to see you were able to take Dr. Wayne in alive. Now we can put him on trial and get some answers. Corporal Toombs seems to have found some closure. Hopefully with therapy, he'll have a normal life again someday. Thank you again for your assistance, Commander. Fifth Fleet out.
Jetzt könnten wir eine von den anderen Hauptmissionen angehen. Warum ist Ferus wieder an? Wir fahren doch schon auf Ferus. Naja. Hi, Anthony. Terrestrische Welt. Und hier sind auch die GER aktiv. Und wir müssen herausfinden, warum. Ich dachte, zumindest landen können wir nochmal.
Approach Control, this is the SSV Normandy, requesting a vector and a berth.
Normandy, your arrival was not scheduled. Our defense grid is armed and tracking you. State your business.
Citadel business. We got a Council Spectre aboard.
Landing access granted, Normandy. Be advised, we will be confirming identification on arrival. If confirmation cannot be established, your vessel will be impounded.
What a fun bunch. I think I'll take my next leave here.
Auf in die Kälte von Noveria. Wen stellen wir denn heute zusammen? Und unsere beiden Aliens, deren
Equalizing interior pressure with exterior atmosphere. Logged. The commanding officer
Fettsäuret sich
is
falsch
ashore.
rumbringen. Ich weiß zwar eine lange Pause in diesem Satz, aber deren Biologie ist chiral andersrum gedreht zu unserer, was ich eigentlich eine ziemlich coole Idee finde.
That's far enough.
We're not here to cause problems.
This is an unscheduled arrival. I need your credentials.
You first.
We're the law here. Show some respect.
I'm Captain Maiko Matsuo, Ilanis Risk Control Services.
I'm a Spectre. My name is Shepard.
Load of horse crap, ma'am.
We will need to confirm that. Also, I must advise you that firearms are not permitted on Noveria. Sergeant Sterling, secure their weapons.
That escalated quickly.
Citadel authority supersedes yours.
Stand down. Their house, their rules.
I'll be behind you. That armor's in good condition?
Captain Matsuo, stand down. We confirmed their identity. Spectres are authorized to carry weapons here, Captain.
You may proceed, Spectre. I hope the rest of your visit will be less confrontational. Parasini-san will meet you upstairs.
Behave yourself. Get out of here.
Wie freundlich.
I am Gianna Parasini, assistant to Administrator Ananias.
We apologize for the incident in the docking bay.
I appreciate your help.
You're welcome. You understand our security chief was only doing her job. One of my duties is orientation of new arrivals. Do you have any questions?
Has anyone unusual passed through here recently?
Unusual? And a sorry matriarch passed through a few days ago. Lady Benezia.
Saren's aide is here.
Can I speak with her?
Benezia left for the Peak 15 research complex days ago. To the best of my knowledge, she's still there.
Could you tell me how to get there?
You'll need to ask Administrator Analeas for clearance to leave this port.
Where can I find the Administrator?
His office is on the main level, left at the top of the elevator.
Pretty heavy security for such a small port.
The Executive Board does everything in its power to protect the privacy of our client corporations.
I can't have my investigation hampered.
Tread lightly. The Board can bury you in litigation. You'd need an Asari lawyer to see the case through.
Understood. Can we go in now?
Of course. If you need any help, you can ask me at the Administrator's office.
Commander, it might be wise to bring Dr. T'Soni along. She knows Rwanda better than any of us.
Das klingt nach einer guten Idee. Aber erstmal brauchen wir Erlaubnis.
Welcome to Port Hanshan, the galaxy's most respected site for independent scientific research and development. For your own safety and to protect the privacy of others, you are required to obey any directions given by our security personnel. If you have questions or concerns, our friendly administrative staff is always available. Thank you, and enjoy your stay.
Das ist ein Hader. So, es hieß, wir sollen nach dem Aufzug links. Du bist ja schnell hergekommen.
How can I help you?
I'd like to speak to Analeas.
One moment, please. Mr. Analeas?
Yes, what?
Commander Shepard is asking to see you, sir.
Right, fine, come in. You will excuse me if I don't stand up. I have no time to entertain spaceborne vagabonds.
I see you looked up my service record.
Only a fool enters negotiation without knowledge of the other party's tendencies. This greeting is a courtesy. I will only cooperate as required by the Executive Board. Businesses come here to avoid the second guessing of galactic law.
I'm conducting an investigation. It's a matter of galactic security.
Yes, isn't everything? I will not allow you to harass our clients. This world is private property.
I've heard an Asari matriarch is here. Benezia?
She arrived a few days ago, accompanied by a personal escort and some cargo. She's up at Peak 15.
What do you mean, personal escort?
The phrase is self-explanatory. Bodyguards attending to the safety of her person, mainly Asari commandos.
Commandos? You didn't think that odd?
They followed all our regulations. I had no reason to forbid Lady Benezia from taking them.
What can you tell me about her cargo?
Large, heavy, and sealed. It passed weapons screening. Beyond that, it is not our concern.
Hallo, Chaos Gaming. Und, ja, Oracle of Death, die wirken hier schon ein bisschen so, als wären sie gerne doch ein bisschen offen böse.
What brought her out here?
If I knew, I wouldn't be at liberty to say. She came here as Agent Saren's executor.
Excuse me, his what?
Executor. Saren is a major shareholder in Binary Helix. Lady Benezia is authorized to act in his name. She is here on business for Binary Helix. There were issues at Peak 15 that required Saren's attention.
I'd like to see her, immediately.
I'm afraid that you cannot. Peak 15 is a private facility in the Skadi Mountains. Regardless, there is a blizzard in the area. Shuttles are grounded and surface access has been cut off.
Back to my other questions.
Every minute of my time you waste costs the company 12 credits. I will keep a running tally.
Do you do business with Saren?
I believe I explained this already, did I not? He is a major investor in Binary Helix Corporation, which is one of Noveria's backers.
Is Binary Helix developing weapons for him?
It's possible, given his interests. What our clients do in their labs is their business.
I have no more questions at this time.
Good. I received a dozen urgent messages while you dithered about.
Ja, wir haben es ja verstanden. Du bist viel zu wichtig. Ah, oh nein. Die Tür hat mich gefangen. Okay, wie kommen wir zu diesem...
Mr. isn't the only one with a past to leave Henshan. You've never worked in the corporate world, have you, Commander? You can't bludgeon through bureaucracy.
So it would seem. I need an alternative.
Talk to Lorik Keene. You should be able to find him at the hotel bar. Can't say more. Not within earshot of Mr. Analaeus.
You said I should talk to Lorik Keene?
Mr. Analaeus isn't the only one with a past to leave Hanshan. Keene spends his days at the hotel since his office was closed.
I've taken up enough of your time.
Not at all, Spectre. This is my job, after all.
Hilfreich. Hilfreich. Tatsächlich. So, an der Bar können wir also diesen Herrn Keene treffen. Wo ist die Bar? Ah, hier geht's zum Hotel. Okay, was kann ich für euch tun?
The male human at the hotel bar? He's a sales rep for Binary Helix. His name is Rafael Vargas. I need you to speak with him.
Do you know who I am?
Everyone here knows who you are, Dullstone. That makes you ideal for my job. You are a known quantity, or so Vargas will think. He will assume you are here to investigate his company's dirty laundry. That will distract him from my real intentions.
He's right there. Why not talk to him yourself?
I wish I could. I already bungled this myself. He realized I was not a real buyer.
I don't know anything about Binary Helix. What would I talk to Vargas about?
I represent the Aramali City Council on Thessia. Our town is known for its biotic amp crafters.
What's your interest in Binary Helix? They do genetics work.
Much of BH's work relates to biotics. There are rumors that the Noveria branch has flown in Asari biotics. Powerful ones. Commandos, to be specific. We want to assess any potential risk to Asari copyrights. You will present yourself as a buyer, on behalf of the Spectres or the Alliance. Discuss their military enhancement programs. Your real objective will be to distract him. I will give you a device that will crack into his personal wireless network. It will upload a variety of monitoring viruses. They will infiltrate Binary Helix when he logs onto their intranet.
Das klingt illegal, korrekt.
You think this uniform's just for show? My job is to enforce the law, not break it.
Do you think that Binary Helix obeys all the laws? That they do not spy on other companies?
What they might be doing somewhere else doesn't justify my acting against them here.
Very well, Spectre. I will be on my way.
Okay, aber eigentlich will ich mit dem hier reden. Noch ein Turianer, der sitzt und trinkt.
Afternoon. Sit down, have a drink. What can I do for you?
Are you Lorik Keene? I heard you might be able to help me.
You are the Spectre that just arrived, are you not? What can an old Turian like me possibly help you with?
I'm trying to find a way into the garage. I have places to go.
You need a pass. How fortuitous. I'm the manager of the local Synthetic Insights office. For the moment, at least. Mr. Analaeus closed my office. He claims to be investigating reports of my corruption. The administrator is an interesting man. He's become quite wealthy since he took direct control of rents.
I sense a connection there.
Indeed. I acquired evidence of Ananias's actions. His hired goons are ransacking my office to find it. I suspect your goal lies outside this port. Mr. Ananias would be disinclined to let you wander. If you recover the evidence from my office, I will give you my garage pass, as well as a sum of credits.
How did you get a pass?
I'm a manager. Most executives on Noveria are free to come and go as they will.
Why didn't Ananias cancel your pass clearance?
Why should he? There's nothing outside but snow and hungry Nathak.
You have a plan?
I do. However, there is one other... What is that charming human expression? Fly in the lotion?
Ointment,
Violence
aber nah
against
genug
Mr.
dran.
Ananias' thugs may be necessary. He has members of Han-Shan's security team searching my offices. He's paying them under the table. Miss Matsuo is unaware of their outside employment.
If I have to kill the guards, I'm afraid I can't help you. There's still the law around here.
True enough, though I hasten to point out that Ms. Matsuo disapproves of outside contracting. If you change your mind, I will remain here. I see no other options at present.
Okay. Das ist ziemlich groß.
Can I help you?
You're the Spectre, right? Management told us not to talk to you.
Okay.
What sort of offer did they make you?
Good. I don't think I'm supposed to mention numbers. They don't write them down on things. No, I'm sure the company takes care of its own. Full insurance, we get vacations, subsidized housing. After a year, I start getting stock options.
Interessante Terminals. Sieht aus, als würden da irgendwie Kaugummi-Kugeln rauskommen.
And the equator. Bounce backing, diving, an accredited asset Eurofield.
If you like that sort of thing, I'd rather admire you.
Don't hang up. Elder brother, it's me. I'm on Noveria now. I can't talk long. This call is costing 10 credits a minute. It's real time from the Traverse. Did you think it would be cheap? I need some information. There's an issue here with synthetic insights. The manager, Laura Keene, he got caught with his toes wet. The office is closed by Hanshin's administrator. I need you to see what you can find out about... Are you ready for his name? Ronadril, Gon, Swa, Folsum, Keratin, Nar, EAB, Bella, Ananias.
Okay.
No, that's the administrator. The Hanshin administrator.
Das ist ein langer Name.
Beat it.
Okay. Alles so nett hier. Aber wir haben ja auch den dezenten Hinweis bekommen, wink wink, dass wir für die ganze Sache möglichst Liara mitnehmen sollten, jetzt wo wir wissen, dass Lady Venesia hieß. Ich weiß gar nicht, ob man sie als Lady Matriarchin Venesia machen lässt. Und deswegen machen wir einen Light-Jog-Ausflug zurück. Und damit ist die Musik auch wieder aus. Ich glaube, der Stream ist aber auch gleich aus. Diesmal wirklich tatsächlich und nicht aus Versehen. Ja, das Internet versagt. Sondern wirklich, weil wir für heute Feierabend machen mit dem Spiel. Weil es mal wieder spät geworden ist heute. Nee, warte, oben ging es ja raus. Tanzt Talida? Du, du, du. So. Ja, schwingt den blauen Hintern hier rüber.
Stand by, shore party. Decontamination in progress. Logged. The commanding officer is aboard. XO Presley stands relieved.
Und wieder raus. Presley liebt das sicher.
Equalizing interior pressure with exterior atmosphere.
Ich will hier raus.
Logged. The commanding officer is
Hier raus.
ashore.
So.
XO Presley has the deck.
Zugeben schon ganz cool hier, die ganze Hafenanlage. Normandy im Schneelicht. Coole Anlage. Auch mit den unterschiedlichen Stegen, je nachdem, was für ein Schiff man hat. So. Und jetzt laufen wir wieder bis zu dem Fahrstuhl und da hören wir dann auf. Das Hotel und der freundliche Torianer möchte, dass wir bei Synthetic Insights uns darum kümmern, dass die Leute da nichts klauen. Okay. Gut, gut. Und das war's dann für heute. Ich wünsche euch allen noch eine gute Nacht. Und man sieht sich morgen. Morgen spielen wir die 7 Gezeichneten. Weiter mit der regulären Truppe. Minus Kai, soweit ich weiß. Der hat morgen einen anderen Termin, der sich damit überlappt. Und ansonsten vielleicht auch wieder zu späten Zeiten Mass Effect Nachtschicht weiter. Macht's gut, passt auf euch auf. Und vielleicht bis morgen. Tschüssi.